Thank you for coming to Macchiarini Creative Design and to the First Friday Jessica Los Poetry Series, which I didn't name it after myself, someone else did. But here we are once again. Thank you to Macchiarini Creative Design. Thank you to David Zeese for doing such a wonderful job with the sound for all these years. And thank you to Colin, who records all of these readings for Alcatraz Radio. You can look back and see all of the readings over the past 3 years, thanks to Alcatraz Radio. We're starting a little late tonight because Dan had to deliver the torch to the drag show down at the Trios that he made for the Pride Parade many years back. We're celebrating Pride Month tonight, and also the 70th anniversary of the Upper Grant Avenue / North Beach Street Festival, which is next weekend. So, in lieu of that, I'm going to read a poem by someone who used to live in the neighborhood, one of my favorite poets. There is a new wine bar in the restaurant in the neighborhood named after a book by his, Bob Kaufman. And I read this poem a lot, but I'm going to read it again anyway because my friend Tiger Dave is here. And he's going to accompany me on saxophone. So this is called Walking Parker Home by Bob Kaufman. Sweet beats of jazz impaled on slivers of wind. Kansas black morning, first torn eyes. Historical sound pictures on new bird wings. People shouts, boy alto dream, tomorrow's gold-bellied pipe of stops and future blues times. Lurking Hawkins, shadows of Leicester, realization, bronze fingers, brain extensions, seeking trapped sounds, ghetto thoughts, bandstand courage, solo flights, nerve-racked suspicions of newer songs and doubts, New York, Alter City, black tears, secret disciples. Hammer horn pounding songs on unswinging gates. Culture gods, mob sounds, visions of spikes. Panic excursions to tribal jazz wombs and transfusions. Heroin nights of birth and soaring over boppy new ground. Smothered rage covering pyramids of notes spontaneously exploding. Cool revelations, shrill hopes, beauty speared into greedy ears. Birdland nights on Bop Mountains, windy saxophone revolutions, day rooms of junk, and melting walls and circling vultures, money cancer, remembered pain, terror flights, death and indestructible existence. In that jazz corner of life, wrapped in a mist of sound, his legacy, our jazz-tinted dawn, wailing his trumpets of oddly begotten dreams, inviting the nerveless to feel once more. That fierce dying of humans consumed in raging fires of love.
orange Jacko sax.
So our next poet tonight is also a journalist, and reads up at Coit Tower, oftentimes. Please welcome Ayla Ginger.
Thank you. That was really beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
I look down at my hands sometimes, and I don't see mine. I see my mother's. Her swollen, calloused knuckles and confusing nail polish. It's chipped, but it's also as if she's forgotten to paint the polish on every other nail, or sometimes each one is a different color, but there's always one left bare. You see, I think she forgets or begets to anxiousness that causes her body to rock back and forth on a little ball in my hands, those small, reach out to touch her. She wears chunky black Doc Martens that she got at the Goodwill in North Portland by the harbor, where her boat indiscriminately floats and Mama the Chihuahua waits for her, shaking in the arms of her arsonist boyfriend. I saw her yesterday and her nails were looking especially rough. You see, I don't mind a chipped nail to elude the essence of an edgy life, but her hands, they were black with engine oil from fixing her boat before returning to land to care for her friend who had a stroke. You see, he's paralyzed on the left side of his body, and I'm slowly losing my empathy, thinking it feels like you've got more time for the people that you find on the streets than you do for me, but hey, we've all got our chosen family. She places chunks of chili verde in a tortilla at lunch, and I wonder where those hands have been. Not out of disgust, but more so that she is far from veritable repetition, and it shows on the maps that color her hands. And me, I've always got a bottle of lotion in my bag because I don't like the feeling of dryness. Just like my Uncle Jer, who had obsessive compulsive disorder and couldn't touch napkins. And despite our fears of feeling too much, these hands are chopping garlic and writing soliloquies with heavy pens made by old men at Oregon Country Fair. And my hands like to touch you, to feel your roughness on my gentle innocence, to convene with what you left me after all the things I didn't want to see, those hands to make up for the alcohol in your coffee and Eric's bald head, and man, his knuckles must be tough too after breaking down that bathroom door to get to you. Shards of precious dead tree flying toward Mommy and me, and the only way that we would feel all right was to get in the car very late at night and sing Hands by Jewel. We'd sing, my hands, they're small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own, and we are never broken. We are never broken. Not like the bathroom door or your soreness from rocking back and forth. And back at lunch today, chunks of chili verde slip from the tortilla and my hands reach out to catch them, along with all of the dead tree and nail polish bottles. And while I swallow, I wonder which color she'll choose tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, one more. Wanda Fuca sends shocks down narrow streets in San Francisco's darling Sunday mornings, where some of us exist in a collective higher mind consciousness of total California oblivion. The Muni's constant coming and going, she ends at the beach beneath the soft lolly green grass dunes, and I wonder if the ocean feels her too. Her forever wheels turning, dropping passengers to make peace with pity, and we praise ourselves for being progressive, for knowing about the world in our lollygagging bubbles of orange wine and cartons of olives. They say it's foggy here, but Carl seems to be dissipating. And the Muni turns. She churns my stomach after Safeway rotisserie chickens do my wallet right, but my spirit wrong. Takes me from ocean exhaling salty breath into sublime presence toward uncapped fentanyl spikes and split in half bodies. Great American Music Hall history making street meat sizzling hot dogs that probably couldn't do me better than that Safeway chicken, but goddamn do they smell good. And this could all disappear with a quake of the Wanda Fuca plate. Just a little earthly shiver on a day that Carl decides to stay a while. I don't remember the next line. And that once lily green grass dune now covered in tsunami sea spray, just as the Richmond nears gentrification. Just as the bodies fold farther toward the pavement, the city's rock stars sing one last song as Muni idles toward Haight Street, while hippies and their loyal pup companions pick one last imaginary scarlet begonia in Buena Vista Park before San Francisco's eternal clock stops. Are we forever? Will this high last? Can Carl shroud us in his presence, suck us up into his wet abyss, save us? Save our California higher mind presence, keep me in oblivion. But alas, despite our connection to the physical, Mr. Wandafuka could creep into narrow streets in San Francisco's darling Sunday mornings until suddenly we are nothing. Thank you.
Once again, Ayla Ginger. So anyway, our next poet has been in North Beach for a long time. I really enjoy his poetry very much, otherwise I wouldn't have asked him. He's been here a couple of times before. He is in the first edition of the Apothecary anthology, published by Coit Tower Poetry Club. Please welcome Phil Lumsden.
Thanks, David. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Got a few here. They're quite different. All right, this first one's called Sporadic Night. I will be your trapdoor, shag rug, secret ladder to the hardwood floor of abrupt risk. A haggard seagull, sick of swooping, flecked with spattered mud from four-wheelers digging grooves into the night beach. Climb down, kick away the carpet, swing wide the screen door of summer, and taste my wasted days. Worlds of words and dust, always dust and sand. Toast me, trust me, turn me upside down. To find my nestled wings arching in their morning stretch. Clasp them, clamp down tightly to my neck. We will ride through your subterranean shockwaves, those corridors of footfalls, high walls, clanging machinery, animals howling. We'll suffer the chases, perceive the locked doors, endure the appendages flailing. Close your eyes and cling even tighter as we rise through levels of striated sea, racing toward shore, surrounded by all likes of water creatures, manatees, otters, sea snakes, and rays. Watch them bob and skitter, slither and glide, right beneath and beside and within you. When I flex my shoulders, we fly. The mud flakes off my body. The sun highlights unknown colors in our hair. You sit tall, lift your arms, breathe deeply in and out. Loud sounds have been left below. It is your time to bask. Absorb the sun's heat through every pore. Speak not a syllable. Let flight do its work. And when you wake, maybe you'll notice that shag rug a little askew. That's my reminder. Open my trapdoor anytime. Just climb down that ladder. Unfiltered. They keep me alive. these big moon nights, when the cats only claw the chair for company. My eyes, blue notes, wash cymbal brushes past the crowd's ears. Light picks out streaks of wet. I am the dark shape of myself. Slap my pocket for my last crooked camel.
Yo.
Yeah.
Shed. We ought to scrape this room off our topography. We have done the work. We have waived our rights. Peel our skin from the walls. Beat our ghosts from drapes. Pry up the floorboards and dig straight down. Hang on a sec. Now this is an old one. And this is somewhat related to Pride and somewhat related to North Beach. Everybody has their California story and why I came to San Francisco. San Francisco story more, and especially North Beach. And much of it is related to Kerouac. Everybody, I read On the Road and I had to come to San Francisco. And my first association with the beats and the attraction was always Ginsberg. It was Howell that made me stand up and take notice. And it was through that I was introduced to Kerouac, who was the sad child of the beats. And the more I understood, the more I got interested. And then so this is for both Alan and Jack, but it ends up being called In Memory of Jack Kerouac. And so it starts off with an epigram, or epigraph, I can never remember the right word, by Jack. So In Memory of Jack Kerouac. And I'm grown sick in my papers, my writing papers, my bloody literary career, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole reason I ever wrote and drew breath to bite in vein and pen and ink, great gad of indefensible, usable pencil. Because of Gerard, the idealism. Gerard, the religious hero. He's the one doing all this. Gerard reached down that day to pluck him up, loose-lipped in Florida, staving off winter and Maymare with pints and silence. There was no need for letters. In fact, old friends hadn't bothered in some time, so why go out of the house? St. Pete sun hot and face looking lopsided today. Hell, let 'em wait. For one stays warm in Florida autumn. Wires need not touch you. Work a garden. Write some haiku. Breathe a little, like back on Bear Mountain, and wake to the rhythms once more. Yes, Gerard looked down that day and frowned, for the rhythms had sunk beneath him. The lunatic was weathered and waiting for a sign. That day, old Jack woke, Boilermakers on the lawn, breakfast of champions. Yes, yes, yes. He could blow words off the page like some storm sweeping Cuba, writing, typing, drinking, then again to the page, get to the point. Well, that's the point, that there is no point, no one point, but pointedly, my dear, I think your breasts are charming, so why not let's slip back to your place, just point the way. But hey, what's that you say? Come here, dear, and stay in an old Jack's lap, huh? Or you, America, Jesus, spread so wide I could ride 4 days straight and still not touch both lapels. Lowell bridges near factories, Jarvis and Sampus with lunchboxes, hard hats on the riverbank, or Neil in Denver with God knows who now, never saying He needed me, never simply saying, come on, Jack, let's sit and figure it out. You are too open, America, letting Ginsburg butt-fuck you and win medals, setting Burroughs on the Times. My, don't you see us laughing? Letting Maymer get so old. Letting me watch it. That day, the bop stopped, pop, like that, with no warning. Beer went up 5 cents.
Yo!
The angel, Kerouac, dead too soon. These words are his, I swear. He could be so reverent. The angel, Kerouac, dead too soon. Coda. A liver is one who lives. He could talk all he wanted about slow jazz and cold beer, sometimes surprising even himself, for Gerard had died 19 years ago when Jack was just 4, pulling little brother close near the end to whisper, a liver is one who lives. Be a liver, Jack. Gerard would supply him with the sounds throughout, surprising even himself, though riding cross-country to write hymns to the road, and even Denver diners with fish cake and spaghetti signs with Neil's place upstairs did not discourage him, for a liver is one who lives. So damn it, get out there and live. Suck in what you can, then force the chest, that extra breath, till your lungs scream burst. Surprising even himself, because he could read Howell better than Ginsburg. He had the breath and much more, the life. Just pass him some wine and make sure there's plenty, for a liver is one who lives. But a liver betrays itself if you let it. Goes sour on its owner, could lead to peeling apart, and perhaps a complete hemorrhage. Surprising even himself.
All right. Yeah!
Thank you.
And once again, Phil Lumsden, everyone. The next poet is also in the Apothecary anthology, the first anthology, and along with Carlos Quinteros III, coordinates, who actually is also in the anthology, who I had read here 2 months ago. The two of them coordinate together the poetry in Kerouac Alley for First Fridays at 5 p.m. every first Friday. Please welcome Soledad Concarn.
Sorry, we were just talking about Jessica Spanish.
Oh God, did I mess it up?
It's Soledad con Carne. Respect you, Jessica.
And now you have to correct me, and you said you wouldn't.
About Carlos's name. Mine's a little different. Yeah, so I just got 2 poems for y'all.
Oh, now, oh God, never mind.
It's all good. Respect you, love you. Yeah, one's an LA poem, one's a San Francisco poem. I found God on the 405 at Food for Less and a burger and fries. During a laugh late at night while wiping cum off my thighs. In conversations on bus benches while holding on to old questions. When walking through crowds on my way to meet with old friends. And after leaving for who knows how long. Again. Smiling through your dilated eyes. Each time God says hi, after passively observing, each time God says goodbye. Yeah, that one's called The Familiar Sense of Divinity. It was aired recently on KALW through Josiah Luis Alderete, the homie, my dad apparently from Medicine for Nightmares. Caitlin's got the shirt. Okay, go there, please. We have our festival coming up, Esa Floricanto. It's every year from the 21st through the 23rd. Please come. We have amazing things happening throughout 24th Street. Okay, so San Francisco now. This one's called Pomelo. It's after Mustard by Raul Ruiz, who's he's also an LA poet, but it's based in San Francisco right now. I know I'm an exit sign, misplaced, in a San Francisco Victorian already on fire. My first existence was a light breeze from a butterfly's wing and morphed through millennia into the overplayed song on the radio of unmatched aggression, growing into a 27 Club depression. A chain smoke longing rolled up in poppy flower petals and crossed out the same lines from my silly poems that mention how I still look for you, in the shape of storm clouds and the cracks in the streets after the earthquakes, and singing from Herbie Mann's flute. And in the ads on the back of the buses I run after, missed, because of my loyalty to my stubbornness, by just a few minutes. I should say I'm sorry. I didn't know much about the bitter feeling of not remembering a moment shared with someone too drunk, until she couldn't recall a kiss to a song she and I spent years thinking no one else could hear the frequency of. I didn't think I'd be such an angry bookseller. I didn't mean to be such an angry bookseller. I always ask Butterfly how she's doing when I run into her in Kerouac Alley. She always says happy. I never know how I'm doing. I doubt I'd ever say happy. The customers ask me what I'd recommend out of all the books in the store. I know they really mean out of all the European literary tradition. I say I only read authors of color, when I really mean I only read poetry written by the people I love. They ask me where to find Howell, and if I was a healed poet that day, I'd cite them over Un Trip to the Mind Jail instead. They poke and prod and scream, "How are you here? How are you, Brown? How's the food at the strip of restaurants you can't afford? How do you comfort your elders after they're forced to leave the neighborhoods they grew up in, after the rent raised and salted the earth around them? How were you changed by the weathered poet's manifesto you consumed on an empty stomach and distressed attempts at dreaming? How were you changed after feeling the softness in the mild-mannered mistress poems, with only missing in your heart, while desperately seeking familiarity in sepia-toned pictures of grapefruits, mistaking them for orange groves? Thank you."
Once again, Soledad. Okay. Scott Bird is not here. So I will go next and continue with what I started earlier. Reading poems written by people from the neighborhood that are no longer here, since it is the 70th anniversary of the street festival. And this is a poem by Peter Sherburne Zimmer. Some of you might have known. And it's from his book Selected Poems, and it's called "You Are Dead." I listened to Neely Tchaikovsky read, and you are dead. And it was written on Robert Creeley's, the day that Robert Creeley died, I should say. So you are dead. I listened to Neely Tchaikovsky read, and you are dead. I'd heard about Philip dying, and you are dead. I thought I knew what to do, and you are dead. I walked the hill looking for your car, and you are dead. In my temerity, I asked you to read my thoughts, and you are dead. You faced it full on your own terms in that class so long ago, but you are dead. And only you could tell me it's all right that you are dead. Yeah, and speaking of Neely Tchaikovsky, we lost him just a few months ago. And so this is a poem that I wrote for Neely. This poem starts with the acrostic poem Neely Tchaikovsky, written for his 75th birthday 3 years ago. Neely, never-ending ebullient, loquacious inspirations. Tchaikovsky, churning hieroglyphics, endlessly rotating a kiosk of voluminous Socratic karaoke impressions. When you spoke in my class at Academy of Art during your Lascaux Paleolithic cave painting obsession period, you started acting out the animals. This is a bull. This is a bull running. A deer. And this went on for the entire class. Never-ending, ebullient, loquacious inspirations, churning hieroglyphics, endlessly rotating a kiosk of voluminous Socratic karaoke impressions. When I die, there will be a parade, you said, with animals. I'm in the parade in my imagination with the animals. I'm in the parade, you said. There will be couscous with Brussels sprouts, shrimp, raisins, which were actually currants, and peanuts, lots of peanuts, which you should have been peddling along with the books you were barking at Flower Piano. Books for sale, books for sale, behind the poet that was reading so that they didn't know that you were doing it. And here we are selling your book at your memorial. I called you a pompous windbag once. You said, that's just fine because I wrote a poem called Clear Wind once. And you wrote a poem called Knowing Jessica. It was largely about me at the bar. I don't miss editing your manuscripts and having you change everything back. And then there were the almost daily phone calls for 24 years. What's going on with the Poet Laureate? Do you know what's going on with the Poet Laureate? I want to be a household name. I want my books of poetry to be on every coffee table in America. I want to be translated into every language in every country. Why didn't they ask me to read? Neely, even if you won the Nobel Prize for poetry, you still wouldn't be happy. Jessica, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I wouldn't. Once when we were walking his dog Cosmo at Fort Funston on a calm, sunny day on the very edge of the continent, you said, it's kind of okay if I die. It's fine. I've written enough. It's really okay. But I still hear you saying, I'm just gonna read 2 more, just gonna write 2 more, I'm just gonna read 2 more, I'm just gonna read 2 more, and just 2 more poems.
Yo, Jessica.
And this is a poem that I wrote for my friend Tony Vaughn. Once again, he died a while back. Some of you may remember Tony. He's a beautiful soul, an artist and poet, yeah. So this is called Garden for Tony Vaughn. After a joint of roaches, the grass just is. We move our chairs near the rusted stream drain that billows down. Inside a butterfly is a beaded elf. Psst. Unicorns are roses on the outside. Ladybugs fence for children. The snail is a camel on a worm, leaving a trail in white light on the top of the day in San Francisco. And this is a poem by Ronald Sauer. For Wallace Stevens and the thing itself. I love the way the water's wet and how the ducks are ducky and how the sun maintains itself and manages so sunny. The way the void is voidful always and cleverly so brimming. I love the way the wind itself for metaphor goes swimming. I love the way the trees are trees and clouds so full cloudy and singing clear, transparent ear. What for and why? And I'll end with the short one by Rosemary Mono. We watched the fern burning dead in the light. We needed to stretch our breath again, while our jugulars functioned on alchemy only. Faith shatters haunt these nights, from where we must flee, with a bag full of pears from the Compensio's heart, and listen to the names that can cream the moon. For some of our many fallen comrades. But next we have a living comrade. My friend is here from Nicaragua. He also is part of a band here with my friend Dave that does the sounds. Mario Sarcasa. Sakasa.
Thank you all. Thank you, Jess, for this invitation. It's beautiful to come into North Beach. You know, I came in last night and shared in this with you all.
I didn't know he was gonna be here. I follow him on Instagram, everybody. This is Mario Sakasa.
Let's do this one, David. This is a recent song of mine. I wrote this about a year back. It's called De Vez en Cuando in Spanish. But
You're singing this one?
I'll sing this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Si me ves caminando con la luna hacia el sol, con mi guitarra yo te canto, cada verso te lo doy. De vez en cuando suelto mi corazón y te doy mi canto. Dame un poco de tu amor. Y otra vez recordando tus besos bajo sol. La poesía en tus labios, tu melodía con mi son. Vamos a ver. De vez en cuando suelto mi corazón y te doy mi canto. Dame un poco de tu amor. La noche ya se va acercando. Te vas, yo me quedo, pero guardo tu calor. Y guardo tu calor. Tu calor, come on, baby. Alright, now y'all gonna help me out on this one? We're gonna do the cloud here. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, keep going. Ba, 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 ba. Dame un poco de tu amor, eso. Dame un poco de tu amor. Dame un poco de tu amor. Un poquito de tu amor. Dame un poco de tu amor. De vez en cuando, eso. Gracias, gracias. Try heating it up a little bit with the Latino, with the Latin. Yeah, Jess, you want to do something together here? Do another one?
Yeah, I think. A long time. That's alright. Yeah.
However.
Pride pole.
Lower.
We're gonna lean on the pride pole.
Now and then. Alright. That should work. Does that work?
That's like the theme to never mind.
Yeah, it's just never mind.
It's like Jason's theme.
Oh, really? Okay. Just start. Tambourine. Love is like a shadow. Coming out from under the sun. Juts out into the sky and steeps the day in shade. It juts out into the sky. Before the cactus sinks into the ground, don't prick your finger. The sun is a pink banjo on the streets of Brooklyn. goes dry. The sun is not coming. Before the cactus sinks into the ground, go prick your finger. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Guys, Mario Shikasa once again, the Tiger Dave, who you heard earlier. And thank your wonderful selves for being a fantastic audience, as always, here at Macchiarini Creative Design and for First Friday in general. It's a wonderful and developing concept. More and more people want to be involved, more and more people are coming. And we'd love a little help getting the chairs back downstairs if any of you are able-bodied and would like to carry one or two. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.